Hello, good morning, everyone. We are going to start on time, so it's time to go. Good afternoon if we have some European folks attending. My name is Elevan from the Tableau public team. I am based in Paris, and I'll be your host for this webinar on finding and cleaning your election data. Thank you so much for joining. Before we start, please be aware that you've been muted upon entering this room. So if you want to interact with me, you will have to use the chat box or Q&A box, and I invite you to look for them if you haven't found them yet. This is also the way I will be sending URLs to you of the resources we're going to see together. So let's get started. In the Tableau public team, we help users, including journalists, create data visualizations. So we need to cover all the steps from searching your data to publishing them. This is why we thought that this webinar would be interesting because even if you know Tableau very well, if your data is crappy, you will never get a good visualization. So what we will be seeing today is first finding your data from the easiest way to some more complicated ways like scraping, basic scraping, because we only have 1 hour. And then we will be looking at cleaning and preparing the data. So some aspects of it can be done in Tableau Public. And for some other more complicated transformations, you will need some other tools. So I tested some free tools, and I will be sharing my experience with you. All right. So the first thing we're going to see is letting the data come to you. That this is the easiest you can do. And I have a good recommendation for you. It is the Data is Plural newsletter by Jeremy Singervine. If you don't receive this newsletter yet, I advise you to just Google Data is Plural. So if my accent is not really easy to understand, it's Data is Plural like this. Google it and you'll find directly the first result, which is how to subscribe to this data. And just for the record, the last one I received yesterday contained the state level results for the US. This is Federal Election Commission data. It also contained county level and precinct level results, ways and means. So probably this makes a lot of sense to you and not necessarily to me, but you should definitely check this newsletter. Global elections, Bush versus Gore in the controversy that was in 2000 in Florida around the ballots. So this guy is just gathering the greatest data sets that he can find at the moment, and he's sharing them widely. So this is the easiest. Then the next thing you could do is set up IFT recipes. So if this does, then that is an application that lets you connect to a variety of applications across the web, across the cloud, like blogging platforms, bookmarking sites, social media, note-taking, or news applications. And you can program some recipes to automatically get your data, and you can line it up in your Google Sheet or in your Evernote or in any app that you like to use to gather your information. So one that should be very helpful for you is the hashtag. When a specific hashtag is used on Twitter, get the tweet in a Google spreadsheet. So yeah, if you go to IFT and look for Twitter or Google Sheets, you will find a list of recipes that you can use. If you type Google and IFT for, if you Google IFT for journalists, then you will find a variety of recipes, such as get a daily digest of tweets at a certain location. So I don't know if we have some local newspapers journalists today, but this is super if you're in a given area and you want to know what's happening in your area. And there is a fun one which was created by the Sunlight Foundation that adds a line to your Google Sheet whenever the US president signs a bill. So that's pretty useful if you're following the political news in the US. Then an example of what I am currently building is this one, if the link wants to open. I've been collecting tweets from Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump since the end of August. and I'm building a visualization that shows what's the tendency in the topics they cover. So for instance, so the Google Sheet doesn't seem to open, but it's basically whenever Trump or Clinton tweets, yeah, okay, this is the Trump one, it will add a line in my Google Sheet with the username, the text of the tweet, a link to the tweet, and the date. So then from this, when I open this data set in Tableau Public, combined with the one by Hillary Clinton, I am able to create this kind of visualization where I can choose a topic and see who says what about it. So for instance, Donald Trump is not tweeting a lot about tax, and this is probably because he has been refusing to reveal his tax statement, while Hillary has been consistently asking for his relieving the tax statement. So this is the kind of visualizations you could build by connecting to applications with if this then that and gathering all the data in a Google Sheet. And these two ways, like the newsletter and the if this then that recipe, is really the least effort possible. You register or you set it up, and it's just coming to you on a regular basis. So next we have data portals. I'm pretty sure you know them already, so I won't spend too much time on this. We have the Ballotpedia, which is the Wikipedia of American politics, where you can find all sorts of information at different levels, administrative levels like federal, state, local, etc. It probably makes much more sense to you than to me, so I'll just add this website reference in the chat box and close it. And the next one, more interesting, is Enigma. It's data warehouse website, which provides a collection of public data from international government agencies, organizations, and businesses. And this data is very easy to look thanks to some good indexation by the service. So if I type US president, and okay, that's weird. So I can go two ways with Enigma. I can search by topic, and I can search by keywords. So let's do it again. US elections. Clear. Very weird. Okay, I don't know what's going wrong with Enigma, but maybe this is because I'm not connected. Let me do it again. All right, US president here. Maybe they're having trouble with their server. I was there just moments ago, and one of the results I had was the federal campaign contributions. So I downloaded the data sets for 2008, and Enigma is a really great tool because usually you will see all your data set, and then you will have a description of what's in there. It's very well documented, so you know what you're looking at. While sometimes if you download just an Excel file, you don't know what are the variables, you have some abbreviations that you don't really understand, and this is not the case with Enigma. So I'll just leave it here with Enigma for now, and if we have time at the end, I might try again. Maybe their server issues would be resolved. And let's move on to another way, a bit more complex than just receiving your data or searching through some web portals. It is scraping. So don't worry, scraping is not necessarily difficult. Sometimes it's actually very easy. So one way of scraping data is to use Google Sheets, creating a new Google Sheet, and using the formula called import HTML here. And then the structure of this, sorry, I forgot the M. the structure of this formula is that you need to input the URL of the page where the table you want to scrape is, between the dashes. Then table, if it's a table, you have two choices. It can be a list or a table. Here, I would like to scrape this table. And you need to tell to the formula which table in the page it is. So is it the first one, the second one, etc. So here it looks like it's the first one. So I'll just copy this URL. And I don't forget I forgot how you say that in English. Again, and first table, and automatically I will get my table here. So it might need a bit of transformation because this one is not the cleanest table on earth. Like it has 2 lines and it has this first useless row. But it's really easy to import data through the Google Sheets formulas. I will share with you a blog post that was written by my colleague Florian, and it contains a description of all the formulas that you get in Google Sheets. It's not only about HTML tables, you can also get access to CSV files and to XML and to some RSS feeds if there are some in the page. So that's pretty useful. And then another more complicated way of getting your data would be to use import.io or similar tools. So these tools are meant to allow you to really scrape the data on a website. And it works by recognizing a similar structure of URL. So, for instance, if you're on Amazon and you make a search and then you have page 1, page 2, page 3 at the end of your URL, then a scraper like import.io, in this case it will be a crawler, would be really good because it would be able to go through all the pages and get the data you want. So it would be very long to show you all the details of import.io, and I couldn't really find any good political data set or data website that would work well with import.io. So I'll just show you how it works with the example of a job listing website. So I'm opening the website as well so that you see the page. It's a research on business analysts in the United States. And you see I have a first page here, but I don't see any recognizable pattern yet. So I'll move on to the next page. And here I start to see something interesting, 10 and PP pages. Then if I go to the next page, I see 20, 30, etc. So when I copy-pasted my URL in import.io, it already recognized different fields in each of the job ads. Then if I'm satisfied with what I'm seeing, I can say done, and I can move on to the next part, which is telling import.io that I will want to scrape pages on the same websites with a similar URL. So there is this show URL generator tool. I click on it. It asks me where is the parameter that you would like to increment in your URL. It's not here yet because so far I used the first page URL, and I started to see this pattern only at the second. So I add the pattern here. I click OK, and then I'm being asked to highlight the parameter, and it would be 10. 10, all right. So once I say that, it's asking me, okay, it starts at 10, where does it end, and how big are the steps? I already know that the steps are 10 plus 10 every time. Now I need to know what's the number in my last page. So I'll just, I'll see how it goes. Like if I go to 8, well, there are many, many pages. So I'll just try my luck with 1,000 maybe and see. And yeah, I just caught the last page, which is 100. And for that last page, the parameter is 990. So I'll copy paste this, put it here. And here, the URL generator has automatically generated a list of all the URLs that I will need to scrape. So I can just click Add to the list, save. And in the event that this would be a very long and heavy processing work for my computer, I could decide to schedule my extractor for later, or if it's something that is being updated regularly, like a job listing, then it would definitely make sense if I'm looking for a new job to do it daily. But no, I just want to run it. I think it's 100 pages, not too long, so I can just launch the process. And I follow here how it goes, so I will see how many URLs the import IO has successfully scraped. So 10, 15, 100, and I'm actually on a trial plan, so, well, it's only 100 pages and I have 500, so I can just let it run. But yeah, I will let it run to 500 in the background, whatever. And so once I have my 100, I will just be able to export them and use them to visualize, make some analysis, draw some conclusions. All right. So we just preview it together to see if it worked, and it's really nice. I get all the right information. I get blank spaces when the information is not given by the company, but it really looks like data that I could use to make some analysis on business analysts in the US. Okay, so that was the most complex part of this webinar, I think. So if you've stayed and hang on so far, you're good to go. Now it will be easier. The next part is actually using Tableau Public, existing visualizations on Tableau Public, to grab the data that is behind. So if you're here, you know about Tableau Public. You're probably registered from this page, and you know that we have a gallery where you can see all the vises built by our authors. And most of them, if you click on the little download button at the bottom, you will see that you can download the Tableau workbook. Not necessarily the data, but the Tableau workbook. So if you download the workbook, then once you open it, you will be able to access the data behind. So I already downloaded this one because it's very heavy. I'd like to just cancel and open the other one, which is here. It's opening on my second screen. I'll move it to you as soon as it's up. All right. So here is the visualization. So it's exactly the workbook that the person who built the viz created, and I have access to everyone. By the way, it's a good way to retro-engineer a viz and understand how to make stuff that you don't yet know how to do. And you see here this little symbol that says View the Data. If you click on it, you will see all the things that lie behind the visualization. By default, it will only show the first 10,000 rows, but again, you can increment and see how many rows this actually contains. I think it's a big one, so I'll put a big number. Hopefully it's not more than 10 million rows, because it will be very difficult to get a preview. Oh my God, it might be. So in that case, yeah, it might take a bit of time if it's a really big file. I'll just close it. But basically, once you get the data, you are able to copy and paste them into an Excel sheet. So let me try with a lighter visualization, maybe this one, to show you the idea. Okay, this one not downloadable. Probably this one. All right, so this one should be light. It's not, yeah, it's not very complex. I don't think there are 10 million rows behind this. And I really want you to know how to get the data, because usually if you see a finished visualization, it means that the data is something you can already use. It's been cleaned by someone. So here we are. Good thing it's only 2,300 rows of data. So I just selected everything, copy it, and I can go paste it into an Excel file. And here's my data set. I save it and I make my own visualization out of it. Easy, yeah? Okay, someone is asking for the Enigma link. You're not deterred by the fact that it completely failed when I tried to display it. So this is the enigma.io link. I'll try my luck again. Might be better this time. Yes. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you earlier. So yeah, you get a list of different data sets that are related to your search, and you also have the possibility to go topic by topic with, for instance, politics. I think somewhere, if you can see it, or lobbying, yeah, politics. So, and you see how many. So this is definitely a big hit, 4.3K. And when you choose a data set, you will have this full description button that lets you understand clearly what's in there, so that when you download it, you already have an idea of what it is and what you want to do with it. So a very good tool, and it's free for, you can create a free account. It will only be limited to 80 data sets downloads a month. So make good use of this. And all right, so sorry for jumping back to Enigma, but it was too good to miss. And the last thing I wanted to show you in terms of getting some data is the fact that with Tableau Public, you have access to some data connectors. So there is one for Facebook, there is one for Twitter, and I'm going to use the one for Twitter here. I'm sharing the link with you as well. This is the Twitter Web Data Connector. Here you go in the chat box. And so I can enter a search based on a handle or a hashtag here. So yesterday I was checking what are the trending topics in Twitter, and I saw this one, if a genie granted me a wish. So I can just enter this hashtag. Sorry, I'm French. I have difficulties with the H's at the beginning of words. And I get the data. So it's pulling, I think, the last 200 tweets. So you would have to do it regularly if you want to get a complete data set. And then you can analyze it based on the status text, which is the tweet text. You also have access to the URL, the username of the person who posted, their picture, their retweet count, favorite count, number of followers, number of tweets tweeted since they opened their account, etc. So it's pretty nice to make some analysis. All right. I'll open a second one because it's freezing. I'm not in luck today. Sorry about that. So the Twitter connector is this one, and the hashtag is this one. And I won't charge the data. I will just move on to showing you how we can make a viz out of it, because it seems that that's what made the software freeze. So if I just jump to sheet 1 and start my analysis, it will take a few seconds to load the data, but this is normal because it's the first time that Tableau is pulling the data. And then it will show me on the left side, as usual, the dimensions and the measures that I can start using to create my visualization. I'm having a very bad network day. Okay, meanwhile, while we're waiting, I will check the the questions. Is there one for WBS for Instagram as well? I'm not sure there is one for Instagram, but for Instagram you can use an if this then that recipe. And this is actually a question someone was asking me what I use to gather the tweets. So I use if. I posted in the comment thread if this then that. So if is the thing that would allow you to gather all the Instagrams posted by someone or all your Instagrams into some Google Sheet, and then you might be able to visualize that. And yes, the Twitter connector enables me to scrape any hashtag. So I just need to choose the one I want to see. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I wanted to show you, you can just modify the hashtag here and it will look for the new hashtag. All right, so if I wanted to do a quick analysis of those tweets of if a genie granted me a wish, I could start, like if I want to see, I want to keep it related to politics. So I may start by creating a sort of filter that says whether the text of the tweet contains Hillary or Trump, or contains Clinton or Trump. So I'm using a calculated field, to write a quick formula, which would be if contains, and then I mention my status text, which is my tweet. If my tweet contains Hillary, and I'll just copy that and say, or if my tweet contains Clinton, then I'll just name any tweet that follows this that meets these conditions, Clinton. And then else if my tweet contains Donald or Trump, then Trump. And else, I will say none. I'm actually skipping a case, which is if it contains both, but this is because we don't have a lot of time. So now I will show the number of tweets we have gathered. Okay, this is 5,000 tweets, so this is why it was a bit slow. And then I will say that I want to keep only those that have Clinton or Trump in them. And I will make two different columns by bringing this my calculated field there. And I also want them to be of different color. So I'll bring this again on color and assign the usual colors, so red for Trump. And then if I want to see the detail of those tweets, so you see there are quite a lot of people who would make a wish related to Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. And if I use detail, if I put status text on detail, it will just detail all of the tweets one by one. And I can make that more obvious by bringing some border to my tweets. That's a bit aggressive. All right, like this. And now when I hover over a tweet, I see what people are wishing. So this is the case where I should have made a formula that takes into account this possibility that the two names would be in the tweet. But I'm sure we can find some where they're only wishing bad to Hillary or to Donald Trump. Like this, it would be proof you're, okay, yeah. you got the point. So yeah, that was just showing you in a few minutes how you can use the Web Data Connector to find some interesting ideas for your next article. So now that we're done with this collecting data part, yeah, I'll post this calculated field into the chat box because I know it's always a bit difficult at the beginning to remember the formulas. So here you go. And okay, no more questions. So we'll just move on to the cleaning and preparing your data part. So I'll start by reminding you what a good data set should look like. A good data set should have each variable belonging in a single column. So if you have a data set where your headers contain years, then this is a bit problematic. It's not a good data set because your years are actually a variable that you would like to have in a column. Then in a good data set, each observation is in a single row. So let's say we're counting, we have this contributions to parties or candidates file. Each observation is a single contribution by a single person. And there shouldn't be duplicate, and they shouldn't be split on 2 lines. It should be 1 line per observation. Then each column must have a header, obviously, and headers must be easy to understand because you are the ones who are going to deal with it. So it will be much faster if you don't have to go through your data dictionary every time you read a header. So I wanted to start by showing you what kind of cleaning and preparing you can do directly in Tableau Public. And then, as Tableau Public is not a data cleaning tool, I will show you other tools that can help if what you want to clean is not doable in Tableau Public. So I'm going back to my Tableau Public. I close this one. And I close this as well, sorry. Voila. So I will show you first the power of the data interpreter, which is a built-in tool in Tableau and Tableau Public. I will use an Excel file for this. Here, Federal Elections 2014. The table I want to clean is this one, and I might as well show it to you in its Excel form so that you understand the problem. So you see when I try to pull this Excel file into Tableau, I see that my headers give some weird F1, F2, F3, etc. Values, and then I see a lot of nulls. And this is because my Excel looks like this. I have this title at the top, which is quite useless because I already know from the tab name. And then my headers are split on 2 lines. So this is this is not good practice, of course. But this is something that the data interpreter will be able to solve. So if it's here, just in my sheets area, if I click Use Data Interpreter, automatically it recognizes that the first line has nothing to do with the data, it's just a title, so it gets rid of it. And then, did I do something with my audio? No, okay. And then it just combines primary and the rest of, like the first line of the header and the second line into one single title, so that now our data set meets the criteria of a good data set. And I could use it, like, if I'm not going to make anything great out of this, but yeah, I could just show you who voted, like which state has most voters. Yeah, this is what I can do once my data set is ready to use. Okay, so next thing I'd like to show you, and this is very useful, it's the pivoting. Because I remember the first time I opened Tableau, I was importing a file where my headers were the years. So it was historical, it was a time series. And instead of having the years in a single column, they were in the headers. So it made it impossible for me to use these dates to make a simple line chart. So this was really annoying and frustrating. And I quickly learned about the pivot function in Tableau. So I will share that with you. Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to save that. All right, so this time I will connect to a Google Sheets. If you haven't used the version 10 of Tableau, this is a new function. We can connect directly to Google Sheets. Here I connected before. Okay, I'll sign out so that you see what happens. Or not, well, when you click Google Sheets and you haven't signed in yet, as I did, you will be prompted for your password and your ID, and then you will confirm that you want to allow Tableau to connect to your Google Sheets. And then you have access to all the Google Sheets that are in your Google Drive. So in this case, I want to use this sheet, 2012 presidential election, popular vote total. And I will use the slightly cleaned one. It was an import HTML chart that I just scraped, and it had a few, it had like characters that I didn't want, and it had totals. It had a column of totals and a row of totals, so this is the only cleaning I did. And now we're going to see how to solve the problem of having your headers containing some information instead of just containing a description of what's in the column. So what is in the column is actually the total of votes, popular votes, and this is an information that I should have in the column. So we are going to use the pivot function in Tableau, and this is so the expected result is that instead of having 6 columns, I will have only 3 columns left. The first one will be state, the second one will be party, and will list Democratic Party, Republican Party, Libertarian Party, and the third one will be total of popular votes. And I won't lose any information because it will just be structured in a different way. So for the state AL, I will have first Democratic Party 795,000. Then I will have on the next row Republican Party 1,255,000. Third row will be Libertarian Party and this number, etc. So I'm not losing any information. So I just select all of my columns, either by doing Control-click one by one, or by selecting the first one and doing Shift-click until the last one. And I do, I click on this little arrow here, and I do pivot. And when I do this, it's exactly what I told you, except that they don't repeat AL or at the top. It will go all the way to the last state, and then it will repeat AL. But it has the same information like I told you, just in a different order. Then, as we know, a good data set needs to have clear header names, so I will make this party, and I will change this to total popular votes. And now I can use my data. So it would be exactly the same idea if your headers contained years. You would have to pivot, and then you would get a year column and a total popular votes column. And with this, you can start doing things. So know that your party is in a single column. You can use it as a dimension and show the total popular votes per party that you can order. You can put some colors. And yeah, I'm not sure what's the color for Libertarian Party in the US, so I'll just put yellow. And I could also do a map because I have this state information. I could do a pie chart for each state, saying how much of the popular votes, what's the share of the popular votes that each party got. And I can bring popular vote again on size. And here I have a map showing which party is predominant in each state. having a look at the questions. No questions so far on this. So that was the pivot. And there are a few more things that you could actually, it's not really cleaning, it's more data preparation in Tableau. And my colleague Florian, again, did this very nice article, blog post, and it includes a tutorial video where it tells you what are the basic preparation, data preparation actions that you can take in Tableau. So these were two of the most important to me. So I selected them, but now I want to keep some time to show you the other tools that you can use if Tableau is not enough for your very dirty data. So I will move on. So I will show you two tools, and I'll share immediately a blog post that I wrote a few months ago about this. First tool will be Data Wrangler, and second tool will be OpenRefine. So some of you may know them because especially I think OpenRefine is very famous in the world of data journalism, but it can look a bit complex, so we'll see that together and try to understand a bit of the logic of this tool. Okay, so let me open the Data Wrangler. Yeah, I'll just open it. So Data Wrangler is an online application. So if you do Data Wrangler on Google, you should arrive on this page. And if you do try it now, you can try the Data Wrangler. I'm sorry, sometimes I stop because I hear some beeps, like if people were connecting, disconnecting. So I hope no one is losing the audio. And I'm checking that I'm not accidentally pushing my audio button. All right, so Data Wrangler, this is the easiest data cleaning tool that I've used so far. It's just about clicking on elements, and then it will automatically suggest transformations to make your data cleaner. Because we don't have a lot of time, I thought that it was enough to just use the sample data that is given in the tool. So it's a crime data set for each of the states in America, in the US, between year 2004 to 2008. So if you wanted to do it with another data set, you would just have to copy paste it in a CSV format and then click Wrangle. Well, if it's Excel, you can also copy paste it, no problem. For your information, Data Wrangler was started as a research project in Stanford. It's no longer supported because they transformed it into a commercial piece of software. But the new company, which is called Trifacta Wrangler, is still giving still does have a free tool. So you might want to try this one out as well. Okay, so this is what our data set looks like once we have opened it in the Data Wrangler. You notice that at the top, you have some colored bars just above the header, giving you a green, red, and gray color. So this bar is indicating you the quality of the data in your column. So the green one is where there is no problem. The red one is showing the rows where Data Wrangler is thinking this is not right, your data is dirty here. And gray is like not too sure. So whenever you click on red or gray bars, you will get some suggestions of how to make your data cleaner. When I clicked on the red one, it was offering me to delete those two lines, and this is a problem because, as you notice, one of the problems of this data set is that my state is here in the same column as my years, and I would actually prefer to have my state in a different column. So if I delete these rows, then I will lose my state information and my data will become useless. So this is not what I want to do. Instead, what I want to do is probably delete the completely empty rows that are useless. So when I click on the gray bar, it does highlight the empty rows and is offering me on the left side some suggestions. So either I can delete those rows or fill them up with the data that comes above or the data from below. Here I just want to get rid of those rows, so I'll click the little plus or click anywhere on the suggestion, and it's implemented. And I see that my script is growing every time I make some action. So then my next step would be to isolate my state element. So I can click on the bars at the top, but I can also highlight some text in my data. And here, when I highlight Alabama, it gives me the below options. Split the first column between position 18 and 25 in the string of characters. This is not exactly what I want to do, because as you can see here, some of the states have a name that is longer than the 7 characters of Alabama. So it's cutting the name. But I have other options. Extract from sleep on Alabama, so only extract Alabama, not great either. And the next one looks more promising. It says extract from split after in. So it looks exactly like what I want to do. It takes away the name of the state which comes after in. So I click on this. And now I have a column where every 5 rows I have the name of the state. So I will just click on my gray bar again, and it will highlight the rows that are empty. And again, it tells me you can delete those rows, or you can fill them with the value from above. And this is what I want to do. I want all these 5 rows to be filled with Alabama. So that's perfect. And then I'm almost clear, like it's mostly green. I only have a bit of gray here, a bit of red here. And now that I have a column with the state, I can safely delete this row. So I'll just delete it by clicking on the plus. At any time, if you realize that you didn't want to do this last transformation, you can go back to your script, click this no entry sign, and then confirm that you want to cancel the step by clicking on the little red cross. And that's canceled. So the last thing I want to do to make my data completely clean is probably to rename my columns. So this one will be the year column. This one is the state column. And that one is the crime reported column. And once I'm done, so I can go through all the pages, because it's a data cleaning tool is always showing you a sample, because you just don't have the processing power to look at 255 rows and see the transformation. So it just shows you a sample, and then you can check that it worked well on your whole data set. And if it did, you click export, and you're back to having a CSV data that you can copy paste in an Excel file. Most of the cleaning tools also have a script export option, so that if this crime report data was something you get on a regular basis, you would be able to apply the same transformations next month and the month after, and so on. So this is it for Data Wrangler. I hope you agree that this is pretty easy. Some people say that it does look easier than R. Definitely, many things look easier than R. So, and because it's an app online, I just close it and we're done. And the last tool I want to show you is OpenRefine. So I will. This one is not an online app. You need to download it on your computer. But it's worth the download because it's way more powerful than Data Wrangler, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, and this is bad of me because it's a major limitation. Data Wrangler is actually limited to 1,000 rows and 40 columns at a time. So OpenRefine is much more powerful than that. So I downloaded it beforehand. I'll just open it. This little window opens on my computer, and then I go to a web service. So it's a downloadable product, but it also works online. And while you're using OpenRefine, just make sure you never close this window, because it would make everything disappear. So The data I want to clean with you with OpenRefine is the one I downloaded from Enigma, the contributions records. So I have it here, 2008. I select my file, click Next. I arrive in this data preparation pane, where I will be able to correct any problem, like if my CSV has not been interpreted the proper way, I can change it here. I can also mention if it's another type of file. So you see it can read many more files than just CSV, like Data Wrangler. One thing you should remember is that when you open a file with OpenRefine, you should make sure that this box is ticked, because if not, the numbers and the dates will not be recognized as such. They will just be treated as text. So I click this box, I check this box, and then I can go on to create my project because it looks all pretty good. And so, quick description of what you can do with OpenRefine. You can clean up inconsistent spelling, which is great. You can remove duplicate rows, and you can even find geographic coordinates for a list of places for which you have the names. So this one is a bit more advanced. I will share this tutorial on OpenRefine. There we are. And yeah, you can, if you want more details, you can just refer to that document. For now, I will just show you a bit of the logic of OpenRefine. So it works with a system of facets, which is a kind of filtering. And we will see one numeric example and one text example. So the first example we will do is correct inconsistent spelling. This would make sense in the contributor occupation column, because you see it's a field that people enter when they fill in the form. So it's very prone to error. And so if I want to make any modification to any column, I will just click on the little arrow at the top of my column. And here I would like to do edit cells. So we are doing consistent spelling. You can write it down because it's not, the names are not very clear, and I couldn't remember it the first time I was playing with the tool. So to do the spelling consistency check, you click on the arrow on the header, then you go edit cells and cluster and edit. And what the tool will do is that it will cluster together the titles that seem similar, like president and CEO, with different, like if people put a dot between CEO, or if there are some capital letters and some not. And you get plenty of identified similar fields. It's a lot, it all looks good. So I could just go select all, which will tick all these boxes, and then merge selected and recluster. The fact that no clusters were found is good. It means that all the similar elements were grouped together. But these are algorithms, so this tool is really powerful. It actually lets you see what would happen with other algorithms, keying functions, and you can see if there are still some possible similar fields that are not consistent. So we did the fingerprint. We could do this one, and it seems to be very very sensible what they're saying. This all seem to be the same occupations. So I could go again, except for this one. This one I have no idea, so I will not tick it. I will not cluster those together, but all the rest is probably relevant. And I could go on like this until I think my data is really clean and I can extract some meaning out of it. Once I'm done, I click close, and the corrections have been made in my file. So every time I see president and CEO, it should be in capital letters, exactly like this. All right, second one I wanted to show you is correcting numerical values. And because this is contributions to some campaigns, the main information in this data set is the amount contributed by each person. So it's in this column, amount. And what I will do here is create a facet, which is basically filtering my data on this field. And because I want my amount to be a number, I wouldn't like to have a date lost in there or a string of characters in there. I want everything to be a number. So I will choose numeric facet. And then on the left side, it opens this this gauge of the quality of what's in your data. So you can see that my data for the amount column ranges from minus 100,000 to 5 million. A minus value in amount contribution is weird, so this is probably not what I want. So I'll try to select only my negative values and see what they are. And I see that there are 657 rows that have a negative value. So what I want to do again is to go to amount, edit cells, and make a transformation. And hold on, it looks a bit like it's a bit of a formula, but it's so useful and so powerful, and it's actually quite easy, so don't freak out. I will just type in value dot replace, and then I will put a dash, the sign I want to remove between those, I will call them brackets, and I want to replace that with a blank space. And you see below it's showing me what's the result of what I'm doing, and it's exactly what I wanted. So I click OK. And now you see it's been corrected, but now I have some non-numeric values, exactly the same number of values that were negative. So what I will do is I will untick numeric so that I only keep my numeric values. I will go again to amount, edit cells, and this one it's a common transformation, so I don't need to write the formula myself. It's ready in the tool to use. So I will just click to number, and it makes all these values that I had corrected back as numbers. And the last thing I would like to check, sanity check, is why do I have this outlier here, 5 million? That looks weird, so let's see what's going on, because there is nothing right between. Some people have given 100,000, but after that it's nothing until 5 million. And when I isolate the 5 million component, surprise, it's actually a contribution from Hillary Clinton. So I guess to the Barack Obama campaign. So we are done with cleaning our amount field. So I'll just close this facet. And I have my 24,000 rows. There would probably be a lot more cleaning to be done because this is a form filled up by people. It's not very consistent. It still has capitals and like lots of inconsistencies for sure. But for now, we only have 2 minutes left, so I will export this as an Excel file. And call it clean, and we are done. This is the file cleaned, and I could do a great visualization out of this later on. I want to keep 1 minute for questions, and I will hand over the floor to my colleague Jenny, who will be doing build your first dashboard in Tableau. So if you have any questions, just send them in the chat box or in the Q&A box. And if not, I really advise you to join the sessions by Jenny. So it's building your politics dashboard for the US elections. And then my other colleague will be doing a sentiment analysis in Tableau session just the next hour. So thank you. I don't see any questions, but some people say it's quite useful. Yes, we are registering this. We are recording this session, and I will have another one as well later that I will record. So I will just take the best recording, and we will share it on the U.S. elections page of this of Tableau. And yeah, there is a list of connectors. I will find it, and we will push it as well to the U.S. election page. All right. I will just save your questions and requests, and I will answer individually. I think I can get access to your emails. Merci. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day, and hope you can see some of our other webinars today. Goodbye.